easy explained Buddhist philosophy, the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is largely covering chapter 5 of What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula. The title of that chapter is The Fourth Noble Truth, and the term for this is Magga, or Magga. But definition here is, what does Magga mean? It is the pathway leading to nirvana. So it's the pathway you're going to take to lead to that cessation of suffering and the extinction of that thirst. It's how we get there. This is also sometimes referred to as the middle path. That is the Noble Eightfold Path. And it's what this path is it's 8 components of samyak, which is righteousness, essentially. It's these 8 components of righteousness. And again, this is not dogma. This is not dogmatic. This is not a needless or senseless rule. It's very pragmatic, right? We're going for pragmatic validity, meaning these things need to work. These components of righteousness need to end suffering. They have to be practical. They have to be pragmatic. So here are the 8. Here are the 8 components of righteousness. We have right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So there are right ways to do all these things. We'll get a little bit more into what each of them means below, what it means to do them righteously. But they're also grouped in terms of 3 essential groups. They have 3 essential disciplines, 3 essential aspects of this training, of this Noble Eightfold Path. The first one is Prajna, which is wisdom. So at least 2 of these are grouped under this discipline of wisdom. So here we're really looking at the intellectual side of your mind, right? So here, this is where we see understanding. And there's actually 2 types of understanding. We're going to get into that more after we break down the 3 disciplines. And really, our right understanding is leading us to the least amount of pain. And the other aspect of prajna, or wisdom, is right thought. This is having the right attitude, right? This is the Buddhist attitude. So this is just taking the right angle on situations, being detached, being compassionate. That's a huge part of Buddhist wisdom, and that Buddhist thought, having that right thought in the mind. The second of the 3 disciplines here is Sila, and this is your ethical conduct. These are your right actions. Right, and here again we see this big theme of compassion for all living beings. And Sila, this right ethical conduct, this is the best way that you're going to avoid that karma, that karmic body of that building up through your life. So here we see your right action, these are your good deeds, your right speech, this is truth, this is honesty, your right livelihood, right? This is just adopting some kind of ethical vocation. And here we could put in right effort, right? If we're going to put in effort here, this is where we would see your compassionate application of your actions, your speech, your livelihood. Could also come up in the 3rd discipline below, which is Samatha, which is your mental awareness. So here it's really, we're going to pull in that Buddhist meditation. We're going to have a whole video on that coming up soon. This is not to be confused with Hindu samadhi. We have Buddhist samatha. This is in contrast to Hindu samadhi. If you go way back to the beginning of this playlist, that is like a Hindu bliss trance. That's not what we're getting after here with Buddhist mental awareness, with Buddhist samatha. So this is where your right mindfulness comes in. This just being, your recollectedness, for lack of a better word. Are you, centered, focused, mindful in the true sense? And this also goes into your concentration, right? Are you contemplative? Are you contemplating? Meditation is going to be a big theme here. And if we put effort in here, if we're taking right effort in our mental awareness, this is just virtuousness, right? Are you focused on building up that virtuous character, the virtues as compared to the vices? That applies here as well. So if we go back to where I said there'd be 2 sorts of understanding, right? Looking under wisdom. Now we're going to get to that. So these 2 sorts of understanding that we can work on developing. So the first one is knowing accordingly, right? And this is just knowledge. This is your memory, things you remember. This is intellectual grasping, right? You're just learning something. You're just learning about a subject. You've been given some data, some sense, perception data. You're going to internalize that. But this is not very deep, right? This is just something you know. Then there's the much deeper sort of understanding known as penetration to the real depth of true understanding, right? That Buddhist truth that just is. So here, if you're penetrating to this level of understanding, you're seeing a thing in its true nature, no labels, no discrimination here. And to get here, you really need to free your mind of all impurities. So this is the understanding we're really trying to work towards on this Noble Eightfold Path. And this is where the other discipline of meditation comes into play, right? They start to overlap, right? They're all simultaneous here. All 8 of these components are working together, and we're trying to penetrate to this real deep understanding here. Finally, what's the point of this, right? If we are going to go back to not just the Noble Eightfold Path, we're going to look at the 4 noble truths, right? That there's suffering, there can be an end to that suffering, and that will be a state of truth and peace, and there is a path to get there. So these truths, again, are pragmatic. They have a function. So the first function of these truths is to clearly and completely understand dukkha. It is a fact. At some point in your life, in some way, shape, or form, there will be dukkha. There will be some sort of suffering. The second function of following these truths is to get rid of dukkha, right? We're going to eliminate it, put a cessation to that thirst, and therefore realize nirvana, right? That's through nirodha. And finally, we're going to follow and keep to the Noble Eightfold Path. That is key. That is the practice of this Buddhist philosophy. So that sums up Magga, or Magga. That's the 4th of the 4 Noble Truths. We come to the Noble Eightfold Path. So at this point, we've gone through the whole Noble Axiom. Next, we're going to start to take a little bit of a deeper dive into Anatman and meditation, fill in some of the gaps here. But for now, I hope this helps.